Right. So, the question of AT&T and TimeWarner and the US Justice Department's decision to appeal against the judge's ruling that the merger could go ahead. There were no antitrust regulations. Well, within days of that ruling, the two companies did close the deal. But now the Justice Department's appealing, which raises the question, what would happen if the DC Court of Appeals rules? Well, the best way to describe it, we've talked about this on this program many times. Can you unscramble the eggs? So let me show you what I think the current situation looks like. Think about this. Think about this as being AT&T or TimeWarner. It's leaking out a bit. The merger is starting to take place. But you've got one company in here, and you've got the other company in there. Now, you see how they are sort of together, where both AT&T and the Time Warner companies are in the same pot, and you're starting to see them merging somewhat. But what they cannot do is merge too much. What they cannot do is effectively what they need to do, which is this. Because over the course of the next few months, AT&T and Time Warner should be doing this to create Warner Media and create the most beautiful of scrambled eggs. The ultimate goal, of course, would be a company that has perfection personified. Haddo's Gold is with me. We've talked many times about scrambling the eggs. And now, as you can see, the two companies are together, but they're not fully scrambled. So what happens?
You're making me hungry is what happens. But what happens is now this goes to the Court of Appeals. It will likely be fast-tracked, which means that it will be heard faster than other cases because of exactly the point you're making, and that the longer that this appeals process would take, the more scrambled the two companies become, and the harder they will be to unscramble. Now, this is not something that hasn't happened before. Court of Appeals have reversed mergers in the past, and they have had to unscramble or divest certain companies in the past. But clearly, this would be a unique situation. AT&T, in a statement yesterday, said that they were surprised by the ruling, but actually AT&T CEO Randall Stephenson said they're willing to take this all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary.
So back to my eggs. Obviously, this is the goal, to have the fully scrambled. But this is the situation where we are at the moment. I think you can see on the monitor. We've got the two companies in the same place.
Right.
But they can't get too close.
No.
And it's your understanding, I believe, that the instruction is do not get any closer until we know more about this. Tell me what's that all about.
So this was an agreement that the company made with the Justice Department before the Justice Department decided not to issue that stay where they would have frozen the merger, asked the judge to freeze the merger, and they let the merger go through with the condition that AT&T would place the Time Warner properties in sort of a slightly separate company, sort of that tangential egg you have right there called Warner Media. And that was done on purpose, and it has a deadline through 2019, through February 2019, because of exactly what we're dealing with now, because of this appeals process. Because if ultimately the court rules that that Judge Leon's initial ruling approving the merger was incorrect and that they do need to separate the companies, it would be easier to do so. But we've already done quite a bit of work in integrating these companies. We've had executives that have left. They've gotten payouts as well.
Yes.
We're seeing already internally here all these different changes coming through. So clearly unscrambling even just two tangential eggs, as if you were to try to take apart those eggs right now, some of those whites are starting to get together, and it would be difficult to do so even just a few weeks after this merger has closed.
How'd you like your eggs? Scrambled hard, scrambled soft, scrambled light?
I like them scrambled medium, please.
Of course. Not scrambled meat for Haddo's Gold.